Hey guys, welcome to 1.2 solving two-step equations. In this lesson, our goal is to be able to solve two-step linear equations. We're going to still justify each step, and then we're going to solve some problems using equations. So first of all, here we have our first equation. Because of this minus 20, we're going to get rid of it first because it's the furthest away from x. The opposite of minus 20 is plus 20, so we're going to start by doing that. And then I'm going to draw I call it the equation wall, and we have to do that plus 20 on both sides. Okay, so we are using the addition property of equality. Then I'm going to actually add that 20. The 20's cancel out, so I just have 6x equals negative 8 plus 20, which is 12. Then, as we've talked about, this is really multiplication going on in here, so we need to divide by 6 on both sides, meaning that we are now doing the division property of equality, leaving us with x equals 12 divided by 6, 2. Done. I am going to show you really quick that you can check your answer by plugging it back in. So 6 times 2 minus 20 equals negative 8. Well, 6 times 2 is 12. 12 minus 20 is indeed negative 8. So we did that correctly. So you can always check your answer down below. Coming over here, these two equations freak people out because they have fractions. Keep in mind that fractions are just division. So this is really x minus 7 divided by 3. We want to get rid of this 3 so that we can deal with the rest of this. Well, the opposite of dividing is multiplying, so we're going to have to multiply by 3 on both sides. Okay, so this would be the multiplication property of equality. Okay, my 3's cancel out, and now I have x minus 7 equals negative 3. Negative 1 times 3, negative 3. Then, how do we get rid of this minus 7? The opposite of minus is plus. Just don't forget to do it on both sides. And negative 3 plus 7 is 4. We've done the addition property of equality now. And there you have it. On this one, see how this 4 is not part of the fraction? That means we can get rid of it first. Since it is a positive 4, we need to subtract it to get rid of it. So my 4's cancel out, and I have x divided by 8 equals 7 minus 4, 3. Okay, so we subtracted. That is the subtraction property of equality. Awesome. And then how do we get rid of dividing by 8? Multiply by 8. And x equals, that was really bad. There we go. 3 times 8, which is 24. And for our last step, we did the multiplication property of equality. Remember to keep track of what you're doing for each of your steps so that you can justify them over here. Justifying just means, hey, I did subtraction and it's the property of equality because I had to do it on both sides. Okay, now let's translate some words into math. So addition, it's going to be words like sum, more than, and plus. The sum of a number and 12. 12 more than a number. Any number plus 12 are all x plus 12. Whenever you see a number, that's where you're going to put in your variable because you don't know what number it is yet. Subtraction is a difference, or you could say less than, or you could say minus. The difference of a number and 12. The subtraction goes wherever the and sign is. So number minus 12. 12 less than a number means you're taking the number minus 12. And a number minus 12. That works too. So those are all x minus 12. multiplication is a product, or we could say times. So the product of a number and 12. Where it says and is where you put the multiplication. And then 12 times a number. This is all just 12 times x. And then lastly, words that are going to show up that mean multiplication are per, or each, or every, is what that should say. And then over here for division, the quotient of a number and 12. Quotient means divide. Or you could just simply say a number divided by 12. Okay? So these are all x divided by 12. And when we see this in a word problem, we might see somebody splitting something in between multiple people evenly, or taking parts of something. I'm actually going to add one right here. Out of, like 4 out of 5 would be 4/5. That usually means division as well. And we're going to practice with this a little bit. 2 more than the product of a number and 5. So the product means to multiply. So the number is going to get multiplied by 5. 5 times the number. Since we don't know what the number is, it just becomes x. And then how do we say 2 more than? Well, more than is under our addition. So plus 2. And then whenever the is comes up, this is the equal sign. So equals 23. And then we're going to solve it because it says write and solve an equation to solve each problem below. So really this is just 5x plus 2 equals 23. Now that looks a little nicer than it did before, I can see that I'm supposed to get rid of this 2. The opposite of plus is minus on both sides. Okay. And then we're going to divide by 5. Whenever there's a number in front of x, it's getting multiplied, so we always divide by it to get rid of it. And 21 divided by 5, you might have to use your calculator for this one, is 4.2. So the number is 4.2. It does not have to be a whole number. Okay, over here, Mila makes $14.25 per hour. Per is on our list of words that means multiplying. Then it says $52.60 was taken out of her paycheck. If she has $175.40 left, how many hours did she work? Remember that in word problems, when it says how many blank, this is your x. So x is the number of hours. It's going to come up here and replace hours. So we have 14.25 times x. And then what happens when you take something out? You subtract it. So minus her taxes. Hopefully that also just makes common sense to you, because you don't get taxes back on each paycheck, you get them taken out, so you don't have to pay them when taxes are due in April. And then our total that she had left is $175.40. Okay? So I'm going to get rid of this first. Since it's being subtracted, that means I add $52.60 to both sides. And that leaves me with 14.25x equals 228. Let me go make sure that's right on my handy dandy calculator. There we go. Okay, and then to get rid of the 14.25, since it's being multiplied, we divide by it. And notice how I'm writing my division, writing it kind of like a fraction, because really it is. And the 14.25s are going to cancel. And x equals 228 divided by $14.25. 16. And remember that when you're answering a word problem, always give it units. She worked for 16 hours, and this is what she made left of her paycheck after taxes were already taken out.